Good morning. Welcome to the John Mendola Show here on WILK. Well, a gorgeous day here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Some snow falling, so please drive carefully on the roads today. They are just a hair slick. Not a lot of accumulation thus far, but a little slick out there. So if you're driving, again, please be careful. We appreciate you joining us each and every Saturday here in the John Mendola Show. Of course, you can join us online, thejohnmendolashow.com. We have stories up each and every day, and you get to see some highlights today. The full game highlights of Riverside and Nanticoke girls basketball from the Taylor Lions championship game that happened on Thursday. We'll get some more stories coming your way tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. Keep it going every single day. We'll get the Scranton Prep swimmers up as well, and that's who's with us today. We're going to talk a little Tunkhannock wrestling today. Too, so we got plenty of stuff to get to. And Jimmy Coles from Channel 16 will talk a little bit about Penn State football and his take being in Arizona all week and what he got going on there. So let's talk Scranton Prep Swimming and their head coach, Joe Thier, with us this morning. And, Coach, welcome in today.
Thanks, John.
Well, we got a large group of swimmers with us and some practice going on as usual, and you guys are grinding. Talk about how the outlook is here for 2017-18.
I think it's a great group of young individuals, and I think the future looks bright for us. Expecting some massive results in the end.
And how about the youth this year? What kind of young swimmers do you have coming in this year to hope to make a big impact?
We've got quite a few new faces that will impact the swimming world this year.
Well, we have a senior we're going to talk to first, so tell us a little bit about Connor McCall and what kind of young man he is.
He's been with us for a while. He comes from a swimming family. His father still holds the district record in 200 freestyle, so the tradition he's trying to carry on is to break some of his father's records and go faster than he did. And I think he's doing a really good job this year leading the team, and you'll see some good stuff out of him at the end.
All right, let's welcome in Connor McCall here on the John Mendola Show. And Connor, let's talk about some of the events you're competing in this season.
This season, I am going to be competing in I will be competing mostly in the 200 free and the 500. Those are my main events, but I also swim the other events on the side. I'll swim like maybe a 200 IM or something like that, but I mainly focus on like the long distance, 200 free, 500 mainly.
All right, which one do you prefer?
Good question. I actually prefer the 500, which a lot of people would find like crazy, but I like the 500. It's a fun race to swim.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that find that crazy 20 laps, but you do it, and I'm sure you do it pretty well. Let's talk about some different things you're involved with, the clubs and organizations.
Out of swimming, I'm involved in actually another swim club, Blue Dolphins Aquatics, which practices at the University of Scranton, and recently I achieved the rank of Eagle Scout with the Boy Scouts of America this year. Well,
congratulations. That's a rare feat to become an Eagle Scout. Talk about your dedication over the years and how many years you put into that to accomplish Eagle Scout.
Oh, gosh. I'd have to say too many. It took me forever to get that Eagle Scout, but in the long run, it was worth it.
Well, that's awesome to hear. Obviously, a lot of dedication on your part to achieve that. You got a couple of siblings, so talk about them.
I have two. I have Corinne, who is 15 years old. She goes to Scranton Prep as well. She's on the swim team as well. And I have a younger sister, Kara, who is on the Blue Dolphins Aquatics team that I mentioned earlier, and she is 13. She goes to Our Lady of Peace School in Clark Summit.
We're talking with Connor McCall here on the John Mendola Show. He is a part of the Scranton Prep Swim Club and swim team, that is. He loves history, so tell us about why you enjoy that subject at Prep.
History's always had like a bug in me. I've always liked to learn about stuff from the past, like even if it's boring, like other people find it boring, or if it's interesting. Like any kind of history that you throw at me, I'll like it. Like I take any kind of American history classes, I will just love so much.
And the next step for you is college. You'd like to swim there, and where are you looking right now? Do you have a big list, close to home, far away? Do you have a handful right now?
It's a handful. Like, there are schools that I am looking at that are close to home, but there are also schools that I'm looking at that are very far away. I think my furthest one I've thought about is Florida, and then my closest one is obviously in Scranton.
All right. Well, it's a nice list. And let's talk about some of those role models in your life that kind of keep you going and making sure you're achieving things like an Eagle Scout.
My role models definitely have to be my parents. My father was a past swimmer. He swam at Maryland, so I've always looked up to him, asked him for advice on anything. He's always like being hard on us, but it's a good kind of like being hard on you. Like he's always pushing us to go that extra mile and stuff. And then my mother's always had that determined attitude. She's never giving up, and she just works all the way through it.
Well, good to see you got some good folks there showing you the way, Connor, and you're doing that job for your sisters as well. Great to hear your story today, Connor, and we wish you the best going forward.
All right, thank you.
All right, Connor McCall, what a great way to start out here on the John Mendola Show, a senior Eagle Scout member. And let's get back to Coach Joe Thier. And Joe, let's keep going down the list. I know you have some more talented young men and women.
Yes, they're just flocking into our program, I think. This group that came with us today sleigh rided here, so.
You guys found a way to get here. We appreciate that, and thankfully everybody was safe. Ben Worrell's with us. Tell us about Ben.
Ben is one of our team leaders, and I think a great individual. He's going to go off, I think, to hopefully get into the Naval Academy and serve us well. He leads us by example every day. He's the first one I practice for the most part, and I think there's a great future for him in a lot of things that he's going to do.
All right, let's welcome in Ben Worrell here on the John Mendola Show. And Ben, let's talk about being a senior. You not only do swimming, but you do a couple other sports. What's it like being a three-sport athlete there at Prep?
It's very tough, actually. I spend a lot of time away from home, doing things with teammates, a lot of team bonding for all the different sports, practicing sometimes 4 hours a day after practice or before school or after school, sorry, and then before practice or before school, sorry, for swimming. But mostly, I love it. I love the attitudes of the teams. I love hanging around all of these great young men and women and really getting to know the people that are going to shape our future.
Let's paint the picture for our audience out there right now. Take us through, for football, what positions you play, through swimming, what events you compete in, and then in track and field, the events as well.
For football, I play fullback and defensive end on Scranton Prep's football team. We had a pretty good season this year. For swimming, I'm mostly in kind of invitational meets and things like that, like districts. I swim the 100 free and the 200 free, but I'm open to swim whatever's best for the team, whatever will help us score the most points, win the meet. And for track, I'm a long jumper, and sometimes I'd run relays, and I think I might start throwing this year.
All right, so you're a well-rounded young fella, likes to do many different events. You said you have a lot of practices, and when you're not busy doing all that stuff, you're involved with a couple of clubs there at school as well.
Yes, I am. I'm the founder of the Veterans Outreach Club at our school, where we do things like volunteer to help veterans at veteran centers. We actually just completed a Toys for Tots drive in the school, where we raised over 500 toys for the organization. And I'm also in the archery club, and we just usually go up to a range once a week and shoot some bows and arrows. It's a lot of fun. And I'm also part of the prep players. I'm on the stage crew.
Well, you're a busy guy, and awesome to hear about you starting the Veterans Club and with all those toys this year. That's awesome to hear, and great job at doing things for your community. That's awesome to hear here in this day and age of some young people stepping up their game a little bit. Let's talk about a couple of siblings that you have as well at home.
Yes, I have one younger brother and one older sister. My younger brother Nathan, he's 13. He's going to. We think he's going to go to prep next year. He's a really good singer. He loves to sing. He's in several different choruses with Valley View, which is the school he goes to now, and we're trying to get him into the choral program at Prep, and that really looks like what he wants to do in the future. And then my sister, she's 19, Elizabeth. She's at the University of Scranton now studying nursing, so she's having a lot of fun up there.
Well, busy family. you fool around with some physics, I guess, at school. That's something that you have to be pretty sharp at. Talk about what you enjoy about physics.
I just love the study of the natural world, just kind of how things interact with each other. And that's something that I definitely want to do in college. I know that my mind is kind of geared towards science, and I want to be an engineer. And physics is kind of the first step to that program.
The Naval Academy. Coach Thier said we're close. When will you hear officially if that is the case?
I need to finish everything out. I think I will be hearing soon, maybe in January, or from January to March, I think would be the time when I would hear. But we just need to get in.
What's the goal in the Naval Academy? What's the future for the years if you're able to get into the Naval Academy down the line for yourself?
I'll certainly be in their engineering program, but when I have to serve in the Navy, I'm going to try for Special Forces. I want to be a Navy SEAL, and if that doesn't really work out, I'll join the Marines. All
right, Ben. Well, you got some high goals. It's awesome to hear your story, and we wish you a very happy New Year. And get going in that 100 free and 200 free in the pool, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ben Worrell there from Scranton Prep, another well-rounded fellow here as we talk about the prep swim program. And Coach Joe Thier knows how fortunate he is with these young men and women on his squad. And, Coach, we got one more guy to talk to here in this segment, and tell us who we're going to meet next.
James Stanko. James is coming along nicely. I would compare him in the old days to the groundhog that used to come out once a year and maybe afraid of his shadow, but now he's sticking his head out a lot more, and I think you're going to see him in the top tier, at the district and hopefully at the state level this year.
Well, let's welcome in James Stanko, who is a sophomore here on the John Mendola Show. And James, let's talk about some of the events that you're competing in this season.
Well, the events I'm mainly focusing on this season, I would say probably 200 free, 200 IM, and 100-yard fly. But I'll always swim what Joe needs me to swim to snag up those points anywhere.
And as far as the fun you're having with this group of swimmers, talk about some of the seniors and the juniors that are trying to help show you some stuff this year.
Oh, I absolutely love the seniors and juniors. Like Connor McCall, we always race each other in the pool and everything. We bring push for each other, I'd say. And it's really helped me on the long run. And like even on the girls' team, I'd say the juniors, Payne McNulty, and senior Lauren Lansendorfer, I'd say I'm really close to. So, yeah, it's a really big, close-knit group we have here.
A couple older siblings you have. What have you learned from them, and what are they up to?
Well, I have two older sisters. My oldest sister, Brienne, 29. She's a manager up at Christopher and Banks up on Montage Mountain. And my older sister, Casey, 28. She has her own little family, and yeah, that's about it.
Sounds pretty exciting. Maybe it'll get you for a little babysitting services, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Science, one of the subjects you like in school. Tell us about why you like it.
I love science, especially biology with the animals. When I go off to college, I hope to do something with animals, like vet school and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, being a vet, that sounds pretty cool. Let's talk about a role model or two in your life that has keep pushing you along in the classroom and obviously in the pool.
I'd say my biggest role model is definitely my father. He pushes me so hard in the pool and everything. He tells me what I need to do and everything. He's really my biggest push for why I'm still swimming and everything. So, thanks, Dad.
Well, good to hear, and glad that your dad's there for you and doing what he can. Well, James, we appreciate hearing your story. We wish you the best this year in the pool. And what can we look forward to seeing you do your best event this year in the pool? What will it be?
I'd say the 100 fly. I'm hoping of breaking the University of Scranton's pool record this year. If not this year, definitely next year, I'd say.
All right. We'll keep pushing, okay?
Thank you.
All right, 100 fly, 200 IM, 200 free. He does a little bit of everything. James Stanko, a sophomore for Scranton Prep. Well, we still have some ladies we're going to get to, and Coach Joe Thier there at Scranton Prep. Tunkhannock Wrestling Team will be live in studio with us. Let's tell you now, if you'd like to pick up a copy of our basketball magazine, you can head over to Frank's Rocatch State Farm in Tunkhannock, Lex Pharmacy in Nicholson, Rooney's Equipment in Susquehanna County, Michael Griffin State Farm in Dixon City, Beston's Auto Body there in Carbondale, the Gabriel family in Carbondale, the Carbondale YMCA, AJ's Bar, Scarfalatos in Honesdale, Mendocino's Pizza, Holy Cross High School, Jan Ricky Lupole State Farm, Mendocino's Italian Specialties in Sanderson Avenue there in Scranton. I want to thank Mendocino's Italian Specialties. You still can pick up those gift baskets maybe for New Year's, so you still got a day or so you like to celebrate a little bit. Head over to Mendocino's Italian Specialties. You can join us again live on Twitter. Follow us at John Mendola Show or follow us online, thejohnmendolashow.com. We're going to take a time out. We come back, more Scranton Prep Swimming. Let's head out now to our local State Farm insurance agent, Jeremy Paczynski. Break like a good neighbor. Jeremy Paczynski is there. We'll be back on WILK. Welcome back to the John Mendola Show here on WILK. 10:22 in the morning, continuing the conversation as we talk Scranton Prep Swimming. Joe Thier with us. And, Joe, let's get over to the ladies' side. And we have a young lady with us today that we'll talk to first. Allison Paczynski. Tell us about her.
Allison's a sophomore this year and somebody that I think you're going to see a lot of in the future. What I would say is I called her my secret weapon last year. I think you're going to see her rise to the top at the state level in the events that she swims. So a lot of good things I expect from her ahead.
Just a freshman last year, now a sophomore. Let's welcome in Allison Paczynski. And Allison, let's talk about that work ethic that you have that Coach thinks that there's really a bright future for you.
You know, I definitely try to work my hardest in every practice, and I'm giving up a lot of my personal time for this, so I'm definitely very dedicated to the sport.
You also play soccer. How serious are you about that?
I wouldn't say as serious. I just kind of do it as a fun, kind of like a release from swim when I need it, but it's definitely a lot of fun, but swimming is definitely my main focus.
Let's talk about some of those events in the pool and what you do and how good you are. Which one would you say your best one is?
Probably my best event would be the 100 backstroke, but I also like the 50 freestyle.
And you're also a part of the Blue Dolphin Aquatics group, so tell us about getting together and having some extra time in the pool with that.
It's definitely a lot. We work every day, and it's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. I enjoy my teammates. They really help me get through the tough times and even like some of the struggles I have with my personal life. So I definitely wouldn't trade that.
Erica, you have a sister, so tell us about her, a little younger.
Yes, she's a freshman this year. She's also on the swim team. She also plays soccer and runs for track and field.
You excel in the math and science area, so talk about why you like those, carrying a 3.9 grade point average there at prep.
I definitely always liked math. It always came very easy to me, but this year I really found an appreciation for the sciences, and I'm really enjoying that class this year.
Down the road, swimming in college. It's a couple years away, but you're thinking you're going to take that to the next level, huh?
I do. I definitely enjoy it enough to continue pursuing this, and I'm excited for the next level. I think I can do it.
And talk about mom and dad there to support you, whether it's the academic end, athletic end, or just being there in general.
They're definitely always there for me, no matter what I do. They're very inspirational with what they tell me. They always try to help me, even when I'm like feeling down about myself. And they're definitely there for me in sports, but also just when I need someone to talk to.
All right, Allison, well, we wish you well. Congratulations on all your accomplishments thus far. And as Coach said, I think we're going to see more out of you, so keep it going, okay?
Thank you.
Allison Paczynski there for the Scranton Prep Cavalier swim team. Let's move along. And, Coach, we have another young lady to get to, Haley Thier. I think you know her a little bit, and tell us about her.
Yeah, I would say that she's my daughter, but she would tell me that's not allowed to brag about or say that. She's somebody that's just starting to come in her own, and she's done some nice things in this past year, and I'm glad to have her on our team this year.
All right, let's welcome in Haley Thier here on the John Mendola Show. And Haley, let's talk about that work ethic. I think you see your dad and what he does with swimming, so you kind of know. Does it come like second nature to you to punch the clock and put in your time?
Well, I mean, I know that in order to like achieve the goals that I have, I do have to put in the work, and In order to like do that, I have to show up to practice, and even if I'm not feeling it, I have to try my best.
You are a versatile swimmer. You'll try any event, and usually with Coach Thier, you always hear him say, well, we'll throw him in the 500 just for fun or the 200 fly. You have a handful of events that you compete in. Tell us about what you do and which one you prefer.
I mean, I think at the moment my best event is probably the 50 free, but my favorite event is definitely the 100 fly. But I also like swimming the 100 back and the 100 breast because I've gotten a bit better at them within the past year or so.
And history and science, a couple of subjects you enjoy in school?
Yeah. History has definitely always been probably one of my favorites. I love U.S. history. I don't know, I've just always found it interesting since like 5th grade. And science, I just enjoy probably chemistry is probably my favorite part of the sciences.
And let's talk about the swimming at the next level. It's again, you're just a sophomore, but like your teammate there, you're thinking ahead, huh?
Yeah, I definitely want to swim in college. It's always been one of my goals, and I'd like to get into a college of my choice and continue to do well in it.
Mia Nonnenberg, a pretty famous name there at Prep, and your sister, a couple of the role models in your life.
Well, swimming on a team with Mia since I was young, I've always just kind of looked up to her after seeing some of the great things that she's accomplished, and she was always a hard worker and never missed practice, and I've just always kind of wanted to be like her. And my sister, she also went to Prep, and she was a pretty good swimmer back then, and I looked up to her and kind of wanted to follow her path in swimming.
Well, Haley, it's great to hear from you. We wish you the best in your events this year, and keep working hard, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Haley Thier there from Scranton Prep. Let's get back with Coach Joe Thier and a couple more young ladies to get to. Corinne McCall, we talked to her brother a little bit earlier. Coach, tell us a little bit about her.
Yeah, Corinne's a really interesting person who's starting to come out of her shell. Last year, I think right at the district meet, she had what I would call a big breakthrough, and from that point on, I think she's made some great strides, and she's training a lot harder this year with us, and I'm excited to see what comes out of her at the end.
All right, let's welcome in Corinne McCall here on the John Mendola Show. And Corinne, it's your sophomore year, and your brother's a senior, so talk about some of the other swimmers around you and what you're learning from being a swimmer there at Scranton Prep.
What I'm learning from other kids at Scranton Prep is to really push through sets. I mean, kids will be down at some points with some sets, but you just got to push through.
Another long-distance kind of swimmer, 500 free, 200 free, you enjoy?
Yes, I enjoy long distance very much.
And let's talk a little bit about your brother, and obviously you have a sister as well, but talk about being a McCall and just trying to work hard and make your own mark. I'm sure everybody has to do their own thing.
Being a McCall, you come from a long distance family. My dad was one, and my brother is one. It's kind of hard because they do a lot, but I'm trying to break through and get noticed for my times and all that stuff.
Latin and biology, not many students get that opportunity to learn Latin, and that's something at Prep that you're fortunate for. Talk about what you enjoy about that.
Latin last year was kind of hard for me, but this year it's a lot easier, and I really like my teacher. Science is fun for me because I like to learn about the human body and also animal bodies. So. And
down the road, vet school for you as well. Another teammate and said that was something that they'd like to look to. Why for you?
I've always wanted to be a vet ever since I was a little girl. I really love helping animals, and it's kind of been there my whole entire life.
And the role models in your life for you?
It's definitely my dad. My dad has been there through the hard parts in swimming. He's brought me up when I was really down, and he's just a good coach for me.
All right. Well, great to hear. We wish you the best, Corinne. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
All right. Joe Thier, one more young lady to get to here with Scranton Prep as the swimmers have made it to practice. They've driven in the snow to get here. We really appreciate it, and thankfully they were safe. And, Coach, let's talk about Taylor Newton. She's with us. She is a freshman, and what will we see from her this season?
Taylor's also another one that comes from a swimming family, or a swimming father at least, who was involved in coaching and swimming. But as far as Taylor goes, I think there's a lot of good things that she's going to do. She may be a distance swimmer and help us on some relays, and who knows what else is going to shine out of her.
Well, let's welcome in Taylor Newton here on the John Mendola Show. Taylor, let's talk about the events for you. What have you done so far?
I do really anything freestyle. I'm kind of more distance-oriented, and I do some butterfly, too. I do enjoy butterfly. Some backstroke I have to work on, and breaststroke is not really my thing.
You do some dancing. Is that something that you've done in the past pretty seriously, or are you still pretty serious about it now?
I'm not really serious about it. It's just kind of like a getaway to do something else other than just be in the pool all the time.
Well, it sounds like fun and some good balance in your life. Let's talk about a sister you have, Emily.
Yeah, Emily, she's 18. She's a senior this year at Valley View, and she's very into competitive lifting, and she used to swim, but not anymore.
All right. Well, we wish her well in her competitive lifting. That sounds pretty cool, too. English and science, a couple of subjects that you either enjoy or are successful at, so talk about them.
I love English because I love to read. It's just always a thing I love to do. And then science, I love to learn about like biology and DNA.
And not many freshmen know what they're doing, but you have a pretty darn good focus. FBI agent is something you're honing in on, huh?
Yeah.
Any reason why? Anybody in the family, or not that we might not even be able to talk about that if that's the case, but tell us a little bit about why you chose that.
Not really. It was kind of out of the blue. I always watch Criminal Minds and try to figure out what happens before anybody else does, and I always love to help people and try to find the better in things.
That's pretty darn cool. Your dad and grandpa, a couple role models in your life?
Yeah. My dad is very hardworking. He always tries his best at everything, and so is my grandfather. They're two very hardworking people that I really look up to.
Well, Taylor, you have a very bright future. Did a tremendous job as a freshman here on your first radio interview. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, Taylor Newton there from Scranton Prep. And, Coach, I know things get a little easier when you have some well-rounded young men and women like you have at Scranton Prep. So you're quite fortunate, but let's talk about how the year you think is going to go, team-wise, and then hopefully district and state-wise.
I'm expecting us to make an impact this year on both the district level and the state level. And I think this is the start of what I would look to be a trend for Scranton Prep in the future. I think this is the beginning of what you're going to see is a very powerful group of kids that are going to make a difference and impact the swimming community in our area.
Well, Joe, Happy New Year to you and your family, and thanks again, and please drive carefully on the way home.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Yep. Joe Thier, the head coach there for Scranton Prep Swimming here on the John Mendola Show. Well, we'll tell you some more places you can pick up a copy of our basketball magazine. Want to thank the Cody Brace Basketball Tournament. Of course, they do that every August, and right there at Scranton Prep, Electric City Baseball and Softball Academy. McCarthy Tire in Scranton, Vincenzo's Pizzeria in Scranton on the west side, Rinaldi Auto and Taylor, Manuka Subaru, It's All We Do, our Carol and Janelle, Ravello's Pizza, Sheehan's Pharmacy, Falcone Law, Joe Blazosic Law, Dr. Pat Adnesio, Valet Garment Care, Danko's All-American Fitness. So, again, you can pick up copies of those. Again, Saporito, Falcone, and Watt located there on Main Street in Pittston, one of those locations. Well, we come back. Tunkhannock Wrestling will be live in studio with us. We'll get to them. Jimmy Cole still at the end of the show with Channel 16 covering Penn State football. Let's take a time out now. Let's head out to our local State Farm insurance agent, Jen Ricky Loophole. Break like a good neighbor. Jen Ricky Loophole is there. We'll be back in WILK.